guys, what's up? Hey guys, we are here to tell you the do's and don'ts of refinishing your hardwood floors. Number 1.
Do move everything out of your house. Furniture, dishes, anything that is not inside a cabinet, you're gonna want it out. We have open shelving.
Yeah.
We took all of our dishes, all the plates, everything out. There was
everything off the mantle. As you can see, it's still pretty bare.
pictures off the wall.
We didn't really do that, but
We
you
pretty
should.
much did. You're gonna end up having dust settle on your walls that you're gonna have to wipe down. So
It literally touches
everything. Number 2.
Don't use an orbital or vibrating drum sander to refinish your floors if you want a really clean natural look. Instead, use a belt drum sander. It's a much more aggressive sander, but it does a heck of a better job than using an orbital sander. Why are you looking at it? It really just takes all the finish off and gets right down to the natural wood. So especially if you're wanting the more natural wood look, do use a belt drum sander. Number 3.
Do use a vibrating sander or the orbital vibrating sander for your final pass. This will create an even finish over the entire floor, both your main floor section and your outer ring section that we'll get into later. Number 4.
Don't use a palm sander to do your edging. Instead, rent a very industrial edger that does an amazing job. If you're gonna go and you're gonna use your own palm sander that you have, it's going to take you literally eons to get the finish off. Eons. So instead, just do yourself a favor and rent an edger. It's going to literally make your job 10 times easier. You can go back and use a palm sander for those really hard to reach spots, but for the bulk of the work, use your edger. Number 5.
Do vacuum between passes. Every time you do a sand, you want to come back through with the vacuum. Before you start, you want to come through with the vacuum. This is going to take all the maybe dirt, little small particles and big particles that might pop up, come through, that you track in, and take it away so your sander doesn't catch it and mar the floor. Number 6.
Don't start and stop your sander in the same place on your floor. If you do so, it can create a noticeable line in the finish of your floor, which makes your job a lot harder in the end because you have to go back and try to figure out how to get out that line with your sander. Instead, just start at a wall and continue your sander continuously. Number 7.
Do sand all the floors at once.
Simultaneously, aka
At once. Number 8.
don't sand across the grain. Now, this is a tricky one because we've gone back and forth with whether we mention this or not, because unless you're a skilled person that has sanded a lot of floors, we do not advise that you do this. You technically can go against the grain, but we do not advise this if you don't have a lot of experience because it can really mess up your floors if you don't know what you're doing. And if you do decide you want to do the diagonal or the horizontal going against the grain, just focus on doing that on the very first pass, and then every other pass after that, go with the grain. Number 9.
Do start with 20 grit. Starting with a lower grit is going to help get the finish and the stains and really take up a lot of the wood and the imperfections in the wood and work your way up to 120 grit. Number 10.
Don't go too high in your grit. Ending with 120 grit is probably the highest that you want to go. If you go any higher than that, you run the risk of over sanding your floors, making them harder to absorb the stain or the poly that you lay on them in the end. Number 11.
Do clean your floors with mineral spirits before you start the finishing process. This is going to just once again come through and clean everything and get a little bit more of the dust that the vacuums weren't able to get. Number 12.
Don't use a wool pad applicator if you're using a water-based poly. Now you can use a wool pad if you're using an oil-based poly, but for water, you really want to stick with a synthetic pad applicator.
And they will tell you what you can use if you look on the packages at the store.
Number 13.
Do sand between each of your coats of polyurethane. We did that with a pole sander and 120 grit paper, lightly, not staying in one spot, but just going over the whole floor.
I like your sweeping.
To get off if anything got caught in the poly as we were going, or if there was any bubbles, it just knocks it down really quickly and creates a nice layer for your next application going. Number 14.
Last but not least, do follow the instructions on your can of Polyfinish. Whatever you use, the directions are going to be a little bit different, and so just make sure you read the fine print and really just go off of that. For our poly, we did 4 coats. We also added in a water-based stain to give our floors a little bit of a white hue finish to kind of subdue the yellow tones in our floor. And so there's many ways that you can go about this, and we hope that this was helpful for you guys. We hope that you guys got something out of this. If you plan to refinish your floors in the future, we hope you can use this as a guide.
Document and send us a picture with what you guys decide to do.
Yeah, and have fun. It's fun. Use
It's a lot of fun.
I didn't say have fun, did I? It's not fun, but you try to have fun by like creating time-lapse videos that make it look like you went a lot faster than you actually did.
And smile.
And smile. And just
enjoy life.
Lean into the process and know that on the other side is beauty.